They told him the war was over. They didn't tell him about her. Sergeant Ryland Voss didn't expect to wake up again, certainly not in one piece. His last memory was of smoke, plasma fire, and blood, his own blood. The siege of Valtor was meant to be his final mission. A one-way ticket. But fate, or the Coalition's advanced cryotech, had other plans. The first thing he felt was the cold. Not just the cryo-freeze chill, but the ache of bone-deep exhaustion as he stirred inside the glass pod. His vision blurred with each blink, static dots dancing in front of him. Slowly, the world came into focus. Sterile white walls, humming lights, the faint scent of sterilization gel. Cryostasis complete, the AI chimed. Vital functions restored. Welcome back, Sergeant Voss. Where? He croaked, his throat raw. You are aboard Coalition vessel Mercy Blade, orbiting outer Valtor. Status: mission accomplished. War status: ceasefire declared. Coalition victorious. He tried to sit up. Pain lanced through his spine, reminding him he wasn't invincible. He remembered fragments, storming the enemy command dome, fighting side by side with his squad, the Zareen raining down energy blasts. He remembered darkness, silence, then this. How long have I been under? 32 days, 10 hours, 16 minutes. He rubbed the frost from his arms, flexing his fingers. Scars old and new stretched, tight over his knuckles. Somehow, against all odds, he had survived, but nothing could have prepared him for what waited beyond the cryo-chamber door. A hiss of hydraulics broke the silence. The sealed door slid open, and in stepped the most alien, most breathtaking being he had ever seen. Tall and slender, yet strong in posture, she moved like someone born in lower gravity, graceful and fluid. Her skin shimmered a pale silver blue under the lights. Long braids of golden hair curled down her back, accented with delicate gems and beads. Eyes like twin galaxies, violet and star-flecked, locked with his, holding a mixture of uncertainty and hope. She wore a flowing garment that draped around her curves, ceremonial, not practical. She stood barefoot, her hands lightly clasped. "I am Jasmine," she said. Her voice was low, melodic, and filled the chamber like a whispered song. Ryland reached instinctively for his sidearm. Gone. Of course. They'd stripped him down for cryo recovery. "Who are you?" he asked, narrowing his eyes. Her gaze didn't falter. "I am yours." He blinked. "What?" "You are the conqueror of the dome, the one who ended the High Command. I am the tribute." "The what?" She stepped forward slightly, head tilted. "By ancient Valtoran right, the victor of the Citadel inherits the highest offering of their enemy. I am that offering." Ryland's heart thudded. "You're telling me you're, what, some kind of slave?" She flinched at the word but nodded slowly. "In your tongue, perhaps. I am yours now. Body, loyalty, life." Ryland stood, slowly, towering over her by almost a foot. "Listen, Jasmine, that's not how we do things. The war is over. I didn't fight for prizes." Jasmine looked down. "Then what did you fight for?" The question stabbed deeper than expected. He didn't answer. They gave him a private room. Quiet, luxurious by military standards. The ship was half deserted now. War casualties, demobilization, peacetime reshuffling. Still the silence buzzed too loud. Jasmine sat in the corner on a cushioned bench, hands folded neatly on her lap. She hadn't moved much, just watched. "Him, I don't want a slave," he said finally. "I want you to be free." Her expression didn't change. "Then I shall freely choose to remain." He rubbed his temples. "This isn't going to be easy." "No," she agreed. "But I am not what you expect." He glanced at her, skeptical. "Enlighten me." I was not a gift for you. I was punishment for them. My people, my lineage. I am highborn, one of the last. They hope to shame me, strip my dignity, bind me to the enemy. And you're okay with that? I survived, she said simply. And I am not ashamed. They expected me to break. Instead, I get to see your world, learn, choose a different path, perhaps even understand why your people fought so hard. Rylan was quiet for a long time. He had faced warlords, assassins, biomechs, and machines, but nothing felt as complicated or as dangerous as this unexpected alien girl now living under his protection, and somehow it didn't feel wrong. Rylan had one goal the next morning: give Jasmine her freedom. He didn't ask for her, didn't want her as a reward. The very idea made him sick. She wasn't an object to own, she was a person. And if the Valtoran elites thought they could insult her through him, they'd severely underestimated a human soldier's patience and sense of justice. She followed him silently through the Mercy Blade's lower decks, wrapped in her flowing robe, curious eyes taking in the human vessel's crude architecture. Her bare feet made no sound against the metal floor. It unnerved him how quiet she was. Too quiet, like a ghost that refused to vanish. I'll take you to Coalition Command, he said, not looking back. They'll figure out a way to repatriate you. Get you to your people. Or somewhere safe. I have no people, Jasmine said softly. They cast me out the moment your flag flew over the dome. I am nothing to them now. You're not nothing, Rylan growled. You're free. A pause. Then I choose to follow you. He stopped walking, turned slowly. You don't get it. I don't want you to follow me. You should make your own life, on your terms. Not as some war trophy. Jasmine stepped closer, her eyes unreadable. Then tell me what I am to you. Rylan hesitated. I don't know yet. Before she could answer, the lights flickered. A harsh siren blared. Emergency alert, unauthorized. Boarding detected. Hull breach. Deck 5. All personnel report to defense positions. Rylan's instincts snapped into place like a combat switch flipped in his brain. Stay behind me, he barked, already sprinting toward the armory alcove. The racks recognized his biometrics and snapped open. He snatched up a pulse rifle and a compact sidearm, then tossed a plasma blade onto his belt. To his surprise, Jasmine was right beside him, calm, focused. What are you doing? He asked, tightening his chest rig. I can fight. You're not trained. She met his eyes. I was born in a war-torn sky palace, trained in 3 martial forms before I was 6. Your war is new. But pain, survival, that's an old language. Before, he could protest. A sudden boom echoed through the corridor. The wall just meters behind them exploded inward with a roar of flame and shrapnel. Rylan tackled her to the deck, shielding her with his body as the blast rocked the ship. Smoke poured. Through the breach, shadows moved inside it. Serene shock troopers. Impossible, Rylan hissed. They were wiped out. But there they were. Hulking exosuits bristling with energy weapons, sweeping the hall with red targeting lasers. Rylan raised his rifle and fired. 3 shots, clean, efficient, 1 down, 2 staggering. Jasmine rolled away and vanished into the smoke. Jasmine! Before he could panic, a high-pitched hum rang through the corridor. The air shimmered. From the mist, Jasmine emerged, her eyes glowing white-hot, her hands flickering with arcs of violet energy. The Zareen hesitated. Mistake. She unleashed a blast of pure energy, like lightning bent by thought. The nearest trooper flew back 10 feet, his armor caved inward. The second raised his gun, too slow. Jasmine ducked under the fire and spun, striking. His helmet with a force that cracked it like glass. Rylan stared, stunned. What the hell was that? Jasmine turned to him, panting slightly. Her hand still crackled with energy. "My curse," she whispered, "and my gift." They didn't have time for more questions. Reinforcements came rushing, and Rylan moved with practiced precision, covering Jasmine as she blasted and dodged, a storm of movement and fury. They fought side by side, back to back. A strange rhythm began to form between them. His bullets, her energy, his shields, her agility. 10 minutes, 12 enemies. Then silence. Alarms stopped. The emergency lights dimmed. The two of them stood in the wreckage, smoke rising. Around them, breathing hard, alive. They returned to the upper levels, bloodied but victorious. The bridge officers looked at Jasmine with awe and fear. She didn't flinch. Rylan gave his report. Short and cold. Unknown Zarine insurgents breached the ship. All hostile units neutralized. He didn't mention Jasmine's powers. He didn't need to. She'd just saved everyone aboard the Mercy Blade. That said more than any report. Later, in his quarters, Rylan finally spoke. "You could have killed me in that corridor. Back when you went all electric goddess." "I wouldn't," Jasmine said. "I saw your eyes. You were willing to die for me." "I didn't even know what you were." "Now you do," she said. "Do you still want me gone?" Rylan was quiet for a long time, then shook his head. "I don't know what you are, Jasmine, but you're not going anywhere." She smiled for the first time, and this time, Rylan didn't look away. 3 days had passed since the attack. Jasmine had barely slept. Rylan noticed the tremors in her hands, the shadows gathering beneath her eyes. Her powers, the same ones that saved the Mercy Blade, were draining her. She tried to hide it. She was good at hiding pain, but not from him. They sat together in the observation bay, stars crawling past like quiet gods. She leaned back on the steel bench, eyes closed. He sat beside her, elbows on knees, watching her breathe. "I don't like secrets," he said. Jasmine smiled faintly without opening her eyes. "And yet, you carry so many." Rylan looked away. "What happened to you? When you lit up like that back in the corridor? That wasn't tech. That was something else." She hesitated. "You won't believe me. Try me." Jasmine opened her eyes. "I was engineered. A failed weapon in a forgotten program. My people tried to make the perfect psychic sentinel, part Valteran, part energy kinetic anomaly. They wanted soldiers who could bend physics like thought." Rylan blinked. "You're saying you were born as a weapon?" "No," she said. "I was made as one." She stood, her voice bitter. "And when they realized I couldn't be controlled, they locked me in a stasis chamber, sealed me away until they could decide whether I was dangerous or valuable." Rylan stood slowly. "They gave you to me as a prize, because they thought I'd kill you." Jasmine nodded, silence wrapped around them. Only the hum of the ship broke it. "They were wrong," Rylan said softly. She turned toward him. "Are you so sure?" He stepped closer. "Yes." Then came the knock. Commander Silas entered, flanked by 2 armed guards. His uniform was immaculate, his expression unreadable. "Lieutenant Rylan Kane, Jasmine of Valtora. You're both wanted in high command chambers. Now." Rylan stiffened. "On whose authority?" "Council order. Jasmine is to be evaluated." "Evaluated?" Silas didn't blink. "For integration into the Coalition's Advanced Warfare Division. Her abilities could give us a decisive edge." Rylan stepped between Jasmine and the guards. "She's not a weapon." "That's not your call, Lieutenant." "It is now." Silas's lips thinned. "Don't make this difficult." Jasmine touched Rylan's shoulder. "It's okay. I'll go." "No, Jas." She leaned in close, whispering just for him. "I won't fight them, But if they hurt you because of me, I'll burn the stars. Coalition HQ on Argent Prime was colder than Rylan remembered. They led Jasmine into a glass chamber, surrounded by scientists, generals, and AI monitors. They didn't speak to her. They observed, like she was a lab rat. She sat perfectly still, wires latched to her temples and spine. Rylan watched from the other side of the glass, fists clenched. He wasn't sure which made him angrier, the way they treated her, or how calmly she endured it. Then the readings began to spike. The graphs pulsed red. The room dimmed. The glass fogged from the temperature shift. She's unstable, one of the analysts muttered. No, another corrected. She's responding to external stimuli. Ryland slammed his fist on the glass. She's in pain! Shut it down! She's fine, the commander said, but there was tension in his voice now. This is promising. That word, promising. As if she was a weapon in development. As if she had no soul. That was the moment Rylan knew. He couldn't be a part of this. Later, that night he found her in a darkened chamber. Her back was to him, arms wrapped around herself. They want to put me in a box again, she whispered. This time with your flag on it. You're not going back, he said. She turned. Her eyes searched his face. What are you saying? I'm getting you out of here. Jasmine took a step toward him. They'll brand you a traitor. I don't care. You could be executed. He took another step. Still don't care. Why? She asked. He hesitated, then said the words without shame. Because I think I'm falling for you. She blinked, then laughed softly, a sound like water flowing over silver. No one's ever chosen me before, she said. Not without strings. Well, he said, smiling sadly. Lucky for you, I'm a terrible soldier but a decent human. She moved into his arms, rested her head against his chest, and in that moment, the war didn't matter. But war doesn't wait for love. Not in space, and not when secrets leak. The next morning, Coalition Command issued an alert. Subject, Jasmine. Has escaped. Suspected accomplice, Latir Rylan Kane. Use of force authorized. They ran, together. But they weren't just fugitives now. They were targets. The rogue moon of Velkar 9 hung in space like a shattered promise. It wasn't on most Coalition star charts anymore, scrubbed decades ago after a reactor meltdown made half its surface uninhabitable. But to the outlaws, rebels, and ghosts of the galaxy, Velkar 9 was sanctuary, a poisoned Eden. No rules, no questions, no traceable signals. Jasmine and Rylan touched down inside a cloaked junk freighter, stolen 3 star systems back. The air inside the moon's cratered hangar stank of oil, metal, and sweat. They were dirty, exhausted, half-starved, and free, for now. The safe house was deep beneath the old reactor grid, a dim labyrinth of rusted catwalks and buzzing neon. Jasmine sat near a cracked generator, pulling her long hair into a braid. She was quiet, tense. A spark of unease flickered behind her violet eyes. Rylan approached with 2 mugs of something that vaguely resembled coffee. It's awful, he said, handing her one. But hot. She took it, smirked. This might be the most romantic thing anyone's ever done for me. He grinned. I should have kidnapped you from a corrupt government lab sooner. They sipped in silence. Then she asked, how long until they find us? Rylan didn't lie. Soon. She looked down. You don't regret it? Not even a second. She glanced up at him. Even if it means losing everything? I didn't lose everything, he said softly. I still have you. Jasmine's breath caught, and in that cold, cracked bunker, beneath a dead moon, they kissed. Not out of desperation, but because for the first time in their broken lives, they weren't alone. But peace never lasts. Not in stories like this. The next night, the sky above Velkar 9 screamed as black ships descended. Stealth fighters, no lights, no mercy. Coalition Special Retrieval Squad, Unit Epsilon 7, the elite. They had found them. Rylan and Jasmine barely made it out of the safe house before the first blast vaporized the roof. They ran through smoke-filled alleys, pulse rounds lighting the night in strobe flashes. Jasmine fought with fury, her kinetic field slicing through metal like silk, but each time she used her power, she grew weaker. "She's destabilizing," shouted one of the squad commanders. "Net them now! Alive!" They reached the reactor core, the old one, still half exposed to vacuum. Rylan led her through the scaffolds. Behind them, armored boots thundered closer. Jasmine stumbled. Rylan caught her. "You okay?" "I can't keep using my abilities." "Not without burning out." He looked at her, heart pounding. "Then don't." "You don't understand," she gasped. "They'll catch us, and I won't go back in a cage." He held her face gently. "Then we make our stand. Here." She stared at him. "We'll die. Then we'll die free." She smiled, a sad, powerful thing. "No, you'll live. You have to." She turned, and with a cry that shattered metal, she unleashed her full power. The blast was like a sun exploding. The entire reactor grid glowed white-hot as Jasmine bent gravity and time around her. The enemy squad was thrown back, gear crushed, weapons shredded. The ceiling collapsed, and then silence. Rylan crawled from beneath the debris. "Jasmine!" he shouted. "Jasmine!" He found her slumped beside a core console, breathing shallow. Her skin was pale, her aura dim. "No," he whispered, lifting her. "I'm still here," she murmured. "Barely. You shouldn't have. I had to." He carried her to the edge of the crater, where their stolen escape pod, Plan Z, waited. They blasted off as the reactor behind them imploded in a final scream. They drifted through cold black for hours. Jasmine lay curled in the pod's passenger seat, her energy threadbare. "Don't close your eyes," Rylan begged. "Stay with me." She opened them. "You're warm," she whispered. "You can't leave," he said. "We've come too far." She smiled faintly. "Then take me to the stars." And he did. Rylan sent out a blind signal on outlaw frequencies. They'd need allies, shadows, a new plan, because now it wasn't just about escape. The coalition wanted Jasmine's power, and he would show them the mistake they made, trying to own something that was never theirs. The outlaw fleet gathered at the edge of coalition space like a thundercloud. Rylan stood at the helm of the retrofitted battlecruiser, Nomad's Wrath, now the flagship of a ragtag resistance. He wore scavenged armor laced with alien tech, a fusion of two worlds. Behind him, a dozen outlaw captains prepared for the impossible, a direct strike on Krylos Prime, the Coalition's central genetic research facility, and the prison where Jasmine was born. Jasmine stood beside him, cloaked in a sleek black suit that shimmered with quantum threads. Her eyes, once glowing softly, now blazed with unstable energy. "You sure you're ready for this?" Rylan asked. Jasmine didn't answer right away. "I was created to serve," she said quietly. "To obey. But you gave me a choice. And now I choose this. I choose us." She reached for his hand. Rylan squeezed it. "Then let's burn their world down." The Nomad's Wrath dropped from hyperspace above Krylos Prime, followed by a wave of gunmetal cruisers and raider corvettes. Alarms blared, coalition defenses scrambled, but the fleet was too fast, too furious. Missiles shrieked, plasma cannons roared. Ships collided like titans in a brawl. It was chaos and beauty all at once, a symphony of war. Rylan led the infiltration team down in a stolen stealth shuttle. Jasmine was with him, her presence vibrating like a star about to go nova. Their target, the core spire, the facility where clones like Jasmine were still being bred and tested. They landed hard, inside a blast-scorched courtyard. Then the fighting began. The interior of the spire was a nightmare. Screaming scientists, broken cages, failed experiments. Jasmine moved through the halls like a ghost of vengeance, disabling systems, freeing captives. Rylan fought beside her, focused, precise, unrelenting. Halfway to the command chamber, they encountered Commander Virex, the monster who once called Jasmine Unit 97. Still pretending you're people? Virex sneered, clad in exo-armor pulsing with synthetic energy. You were designed to serve, to obey, and I'll drag your corpse back to the lab myself. Rylan raised his rifle. You want her? Come through me. Virex laughed. Gladly. The battle was brutal. Rylan was fast, but Virex was faster, augmented, merciless, a butcher wearing a man's face. He slammed Rylan into a wall, shattering armor. Jasmine screamed, her powers surged. Don't touch him! She roared. The room pulsed. Virex turned just in time to see her rise, glowing, crying, ascending. She didn't just fight. She unmade him. Her gravity fields crushed his armor like tin. His exocore exploded, taking half the room with it. When the dust cleared, Rylan crawled to her side. You burned through your reserves, he said. You'll die if you keep going. She leaned against him. Then help me finish it. Together they reached the command terminal. Hundreds of lives still slumbered in cryo-tanks, others like Jasmine, future slaves. She stared at the override panel. If I trigger this, every tank opens. They'll be free, but unstable. Many could die. And if we don't, Rylan asked, they'll be bred, trained, sold. She touched the screen. The facility's alarms changed. Tanks hissed open. Gas flooded the chambers. Lights flickered. And the galaxy changed. The Nomad's Wrath jumped back into orbit, just as the facility collapsed into molten rubble behind them. Inside, the ship's medbay, Jasmine lay unconscious, recovering. Rylan sat beside her, holding her hand. The medtech said she'd live, but her powers were permanently altered, burned out in the overload. She was no longer a weapon. She was free. When she woke hours later, her voice was soft. Is it over? Rylan nodded. We did it. And the others? Many survived. Some already joined the resistance. You started something, Jas. She smiled. No, we did. Weeks later, a broadcast signal echoed across hundreds of systems. It was a face, Jasmine's, calm, fierce, radiant, too. Those still living in chains, she said. Your time is coming. I was born in darkness, built to serve. But I found love. I found choice. And now I fight not just for me, but for all of you. If you're ready to stand up, we will fight beside you. The screen faded to black, and a symbol replaced it. A hand gripping a shattered collar. Hope. Love can free us. Courage can change us. And when we stand together, even the stars cannot contain us. If this story moved you, share it, stand up, and remember, even one human heart can ignite a galaxy.